Either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. Free may keep a secret if two of them are dead. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. He that can have patience can have what he will. You may delay, but time will not. Many people die at 25 and aren't buried until they are 75. A penny saved is a penny earned. In wine there is wisdom, in beer there is freedom, in water there is bacteria. Never ruin an apology, never ruin an apology of an excuse. We are all born ignorant, but one must work hard to remain stupid. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Fear not death, for the sooner we die, the longer we shall be immortal. I didn't fail the test, I just found 100 ways to do it wrong. I'm taking hits from the freestyle bomb. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy, rapping our endingly for all of eternity, infinity. How many observe Christ's birthday? How few his precepts and investment and knowledge always pays the best interest. Being ignorant is not so much as shame as being unwilling to learn. But haven't you heard? Well done is better than well said. Hide not your talents, they for use were made. What's a sundial and the shade? Lost time is never found again. It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. They may keep a secret if two of them are dead. Instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle. If all printers were determined not to print anything till they were assured it would offend nobody, there would be very little printed. I am for doing good to the poor, but I think the best way of doing good to the poor is not making them easy in poverty, but leading or driving them out of it. I observed that the more public provisions were made for the poor, the less they provided for themselves, and of course became poorer. And on the contrary, the less was done for them, the more they did for themselves, and became richer. Rapper forever. The Constitution only guarantees the American people the right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it yourself. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a man. Remember not only to say the right thing in the right place, but far more difficult still to leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. 'Tis a great confidence and a friend to tell him your faults, greater to tell him this. The person who deserves most pity is a lonesome one on a rainy day who doesn't know how to read. Indeed, doused about love life, then do not squander time for vast stuff life is made of. Turtle dove, love from above. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And never confuse motion with action. Educate your children to self-control, to the habit of holding passion and prejudice and evil tendencies subject to an upright and reasoning will, and you have done much to abolish misery from their future and crimes from society. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Raps on the shelf about whatever is begun in anger ends in shame. Do not anticipate trouble or worry about what may never happen. Keep it in the sunlight. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. There was never a bad peace or a good war. The heart of a fool is in his mouth, but the mouth of a wise man is in his heart. For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail, sail a dale. Be slow in choosing the friends, slower in changing. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We must all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately. When you are finished changing, you're finished. To find out a girl's faults, praise her to her girlfriends, and all here armors and all your amers. You should prefer old women to young ones. You call this a paradox and demand my reasons. They are these, because as they have more knowledge of the world and their minds are better stored with observations, their conversations more improving and more lasting agreeable, because when women cease to be handsome, they study to be good, to maintain their influence over men. They supply the diminution of beauty by an augmentation of utility. They learn to do 1,000 services, small and great, and are the most tender and useful of all friends. When you are sick, thus they continue amiable, and hence there is hardly such a thing to be found as an old woman who is not a good woman, because there is no hazard of children. Old chicken makes good soup, which irregularly produced may be attended with much inconvenience, because through more experience they are more prudent and discreet in conducting and intrigue to prevent suspicion. The commerce with them is therefore safer with regard to your reputation and with regard to theirs, if the affair should happen to be known. Considerate people might be rather inclined to excuse an old woman who would kindly take care of the young man from his manners by her good counsels, and prevent his ruining his health and fortune amongst mercenary prostitutes, because in every animal that walks upright the deficiency of the fluids that fill up the muscles appear first in the highest part. The face first grows lank and wrinkled, then the neck, then the breast and arms, the lower parts continuing to the last as plump as ever, so that covering all above with a basket and regarding only what is below the girdle, it is possible of two women to know an old from a young one, as in the dark all cats are gray. The pleasure of corporal enjoyment with an old woman is at least equal and frequently superior, every knack being by practice capable of improvement, because the sin is less, the debauching a virgin may be her ruin and make her life unhappy, because the compunction is less. The having made a young girl miserable may give you frequent bitter reflections, none of which can attend to making of an old woman happy, wrapping never endingly for all of eternity, infinity. But in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. And when you're testing to see how deep water is, never use 2 feet. Indeed, the slip of the foot you may soon recover, but a slip of the tongue you may never get over. Life's biggest tragedy is that we get old too soon and wise too late. Trouble knocked at the door, but hearing laughter hurried away. If you would not be forgotten as soon as you are dead and rotten, either write things worth reading or do things worth writing. Happiness depends more on the inward disposition of mind than on outward circumstances. If Jackson love, he's no judge of Jill's beauty. If Jackson love, he's no judge of Jill's beauty. Who is wise? He that learns from everyone who is powerful. He that governs his passions, who is rich. He that is content, who is that nobody in the affairs of this world. Men are saved not by faith, but by lack of it. We do not stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Be civil to all. Be civil to all, sociable to many, familiar with few, friend to one, enemy to none. If a man could have half of his wishes, he would double his troubles. My refusing to eat flesh occasioned my inconveniency, and I was frequently chided for my singularity, but with this lighter repast I made the greater progress for greater clearness of head and quicker comprehension. Fleshy in his unprovoked murder. Speak ill of no man, but speak all the good you know of everybody. If we look back into history for the character of present sex in Christianity, we shall find a few that have, and not in their turns, been persecutors and complainers of persecution. The primitive Christians thought persecution extremely wrong, and the pagans but practice on one another. The first Protestants of the Church of England blamed persecution, and the Roman Church practiced it against the Puritans. These found it wrong, and the bishops fell into the same practice themselves, both here and in New England. And never leave till tomorrow that which you can do today, while we may not be able to control all that happens to us. We can control what happens inside of us. Were I a Roman Catholic, perhaps I should on this occasion vow to build a chapel to some saint. But as I am not, if I were to vow at all, it should be to build a lighthouse. Wow, meow. I agree to this Constitution with all its faults, if they are such, because I think a general government necessary for us, and there is no form of government but what may be a blessing to the people if well administered. And I believe farther that this is likely to be well administered for a course of years, and can only end in despotism as other forms have done before it, when the people shall become so corrupted as to need a despotic government, being incapable of any other rhyme forever. People die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. The way to see by faith is to shut the eye of reason. The best thing to give to your enemy is forgiveness to an opponent, tolerance to a friend, your heart to your child, a good example to a father, deference to your mother, conduct that will make her proud of you, to yourself, respect to all others, charity. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can't do today. Security without liberty is called prison. Work as if you were to live 1,000 years. Play as if you were to die tomorrow. Grace are all staying apart until be tomorrow. A house is not home unless it contains food and fire for the mind as well as the body. Rock credit, ice steam inside me. When the well is dry, we know of a worth of water. Contentment makes poor men rich. Discontent makes rich men poor. All mankind is divided into 3 classes: those that are immovable, those that are movable, and those that move. The only thing that is more expensive than education is ignorance. Those things that hurt instruct. It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation, and only one bad one to lose it. There will be sleeping enough in the grave. To be humble to superiors is a duty to equals, a courtesy to inferior nobleness. Eat to live, don't live to eat. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Fish and visitors smell in 3 days. For the best return on your money, pour your purse into your head. Fools make feasts, and wise men eat them. Tricks and treachery are a practice of fools that don't have brains enough to be honest. Slavery is such a atrocious debasement of human nature that's very extirpation, if not performed with a solicitous care, may sometimes open a source of serious evils. The unhappy source of serious evils. The unhappy man who has been treated as a brute animal too frequently sinks beneath the common standard of the human species. The Gatlin chains that bind his body, ice demon inside me, do also affect his intellectual faculties and impair the social affections of his heart, to instruct, to advise, to qualify those who have been restored to freedom for the exercise and enjoyment of civil liberty, and the procure for their children an education calculated for their future situation in life. These are the great outlines of the next plan, which we have adopted, spitted. You will find the key to success under the alarm clock. He who can have patience can have what he will. Words may show a man's wit, actions his meaning. Reading makes a full man, meditation a profound man, discourse a clear man. There are 3 things extremely hard: steal a diamond and to know oneself. Many a man thinks he is buying pleasure when he is really selling himself to it. Speak little, do much. So convenient a thing to be a reasonable creature, since it enables one to find or make a reason for everything one has to a mind to do. A good example is the best sermon. No one cares what you know until they know that you care. For every minute spent in organizing an hour is earned. You can do anything you set your mind to. Happiness consists more in the small conveniences of pleasures that occur every day than in great places, pieces of good fortune that happen but seldom to a man in the course of his life. He that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with fleas. One today is worth two tomorrows. One today is worth two tomorrows. How a few there are who have courage enough to own their faults, or resolution enough to mend them. Women are books and men are readers. Men to readers be. Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. Anger is never without a reason, but seldom with a good one. A kingdom come, bum bum. To cease to think creatively is to cease to live. There cannot be good living where there is not good drinking. Genius without education is like silver in the mine. The people heard and approved a doctrine and immediately practiced the contrary. All of the little money that ever came into my hands has ever laid out in books. Write to please yourself. When you write to please others, you end up pleasing no one. Kingdom come, bum bum. When the well is dry, you know the value of water. The way to wealth is as plain as the way to the market. It depends chiefly on two words: industry and frugality. That is a waste neither time nor money, but make the best use of both. Without industry and frugality, nothing will do, and with them everything a false friend and a shadow attend only while the sun shines. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Reading was the only amusement I allowed myself. We stand at the crossroads, each minute, each hour, each day, making choices. We choose the thoughts we allow ourselves to think, the passions we allow ourselves to feel, and the actions we allow ourselves to perform. Each choice is made in the context of the whatever value system we have selected to govern our lives. And selecting that value system, we are in a very real way making the most important choice we will ever make. Of those who believe there is one God who made all things and who governs the world by this providence will make many choices different from those who do not. Those who hold and reverence that being who gave them life and worship him through adoration, prayer, and thanksgiving will make choices different from those who do not. Those who believe that mankind are all of a family and that the most acceptable service of God is doing a good to man will make many choices different from those who do not. Those who believe in a future state in which all that is wrong here will be made right will make many choices different from those who do not. Those who subscribe to the morals of Jesus will make many choices different from those who do not. Since the foundation of all happiness is thinking rightly, and since correct action is dependent on correct opinion, we cannot be too careful in choosing the value system we allow to govern our thoughts and actions. And to know that God governs in the affairs of men, that he hears and answers prayers, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, is indeed a powerful regulator of human conduct. I will speak ill of no man and speak all the good I know of everybody, to lengthen thy life, lessen thy meals. You only have the right to pursue happiness, you have to catch it yourself. Fish and visitors stink and 3 days. Search others for their virtues, thyself for vices. Clean your finger before you point at my spots. Critics are our friends. They show us our faults. Experience keeps a dear school, but fools will learn and no other, and scarce and that. Far from freedom, fart for liberty, fart for freedom, fart for liberty, and fart proudly. Rhyming the monopoly, sloppity. Thinking aloud is a habit which is responsible for most of mankind's misery. All highly competent people continually search for ways to keep learning, growing, and improving. They do that by asking why. After all, the person who knows how will always have a job, but the person who knows why will always be the loss. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Away goes the day. A sloth makes all things difficult, but industry all easy. And he that riseth late must trot all day, and shall scarce overtake the busyness at night. While laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If passion drives, let reason hold the reins. Joy is not in things, it is in us. If you give up your freedom for safety, you don't deserve either one. He that speaks much is much mistaken. He that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another than he whom you yourself have obliged. Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters be studious in your profession, and you will be learned. Be industrious and frugal, and you will be rich. Be sober and temperate, and you will be healthy. Be in general virtuous, and you will be happy. At least you will by such conduct stand to be. He won't be consoled. Can't be helped. To all apparent beauty's blind. Each blemish strikes an envious mind. Content makes poor men rich. Discontent makes rich men poor. Make yourself sheep, and the wolves will eat you. O powerful goodness, a bountiful Father, a merciful guide, increase in me that wisdom which discovers my truest interest, strengthen my resolution to perform what that wisdom dictates, accept my kind offices to thy other children as the only return, and my power for thy continual favors to me. Very free of faithful friends, an old wife, an old dog, and ready money. Without freedom of thought there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty. Without freedom of speech, in reality there is perhaps no one of our natural passions so hard to subdue as pride. Disguise it, struggle with it, beat it down, stifle it, mortify it as much as one pleases. It is still alive and will every now and then peep out and show itself. You will see it perhaps often in the history, for even if I could conceive that I had completely overcome it, I should probably be proud of my humility. They who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Rampant monopoly. If you would be loved, love and be lovable. Genius is nothing but a greater aptitude for patience. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten. He that falls in love with himself will have no rivals. The securest place is a prison cell, but there is no liberty. My parents had early given me religious impressions and brought me through my childhood piously in the dissenting way, but I was scarce 15 when, after doubting by turns of several points as I found them disputed in the other books I read, I began to doubt of the revelation itself. Some books against deism fell into my hands. They were said to be the substance of sermons preached at boils, lectures. It happened that they wrought an effect on me contrary to what was intended by them, for the arguments of the deists, which were quoted to be refuted, appeared to me much stronger than refutations. In short, I soon became a thorough deist. One temperance, temperance eat, not to dullness, drink not to elevation, to silence, speak not but what may benefit others or yourself. Avoid a trifling conversation. Order, let all your things have their places. Let each part of your loneliness have its time for resolution. Resolve to perform what you ought perform without fail. What you resolve by frugality. Make no expense but to do good to others or yourself, i.e. waste nothing. 6 industry. Lose no time. Be always employed in something useful. Cut off all unnecessary actions. 7 sincerity. Use no hurtful deceit. I think innocently and justly. And if you indeed spit into the place for everything in its place. The best way to see faith is to shut the eye of reason. Motivation when your dreams put on work clothes. Whatever you become, be good at. In 1736, I lost one of my sons, a fine boy, about span 4 years old, by the smallpox. Take it in the common way. I long regretted bitterly, and still regret that I had not given it to him by inoculation. This I mention for the sake of parents who omit that operation on the supposition that they should never forgive themselves if the child died under it. My example slowing that the regret may be the same either way, and that therefore the safer should be chosen. Wrapping their end and spitting is hard for an empty sack to stand upright. You desire to know something of my religion. It is the first time I have been questioned upon it, but I do not take your curiosity amiss, and shall endeavor in a few words to gratify it. I have with most of the present dissenters in England some doubts as to this Jesus divinity. Though it is a question I do not dogmatized upon. Having never studied it, and I think it needless to busy myself with it now when I expect soon an opportunity of knowing the truth with less trouble, a hubble bubble max rap. It's better to swim in the sea below than to swing. It's better to swim in the sea below than to swing in the air and feed the crow, says Jolly Ned. I teach a Bristol, rap a spittle, a purple snapple. There are two ways to increase your wealth: increase your means of, or decrease your wants. Increase your means or decrease your wants. The best thing is to do both at the same time. Rhyme, without a continual growth and progress. Such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. To be proud of virtue is to poison yourself with the antidote. A man must have a good deal of vanity who believes, and a good deal of boldness who affirms that all the doctrines he holds are true, and all he rejects are false. Chess teaches foresight by having to plan ahead. Vigilance by having to keep watch over the whole chessboard. Caution by having to restrain ourselves from making hasty moves. And finally, we learn from chess the greatest maxim in life, that even when everything seems to be going badly for us, we should not lose heart, but always hoping for a change for the better. Steadfastly continue searching for solutions to our problems. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do. And it is with great sincerity I join you in acknowledging and admiring the dispensations of providence in our favor. America has only to be thankful and to preserve. God will finish his work and establish their freedom. If it had not been for the justice of our cause, a rebel without a cause, spit and rap them, and consequent interposition of providence in which we had faith, we must have been ruined. If had ever before been an atheist, I should now have been convinced of the being and a government of a deity. It is he who basses the proud and favors the humble. May he never forget his goodness to us, and may our future conduct manifest our gratitude. I believe in one God, creator of the universe, that he governs it by his providence, that he ought to be worshipped. Tricks and treachery are the practice of fools that don't have brains enough to be honest. Spit it, I spat it, rap it. That which hurts, also instructs. Don't ever cry over spoiled milk, spilt silk. A learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. A learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. Wine is a constant proof that God loves us and loves to see us happy. The vicious actions are not hurtful because they are forbidden, but forbidden because they are hurtful. He that drinks his cider alone, let him catch his horse alone. A nation of well-informed men who have been taught to know and prize the rights which God has given them cannot be enslaved. It is in the region of ignorance that tyranny begins. He that blows the coals and quarrels that he has nothing to do with has no right to complain if the sparks fly in his face. Games lubricate the mind and body. Rap, karate, ice steam, and inside me. Glass, china, and reputation are easily cracked and never well mended. The names of virtues with their precepts were temperance. Eat not to dullness, drink not to elevation, silence speak not about what may benefit others to art yourself. Avoid trifling conversation, equation, rap, annihilation. Today is yesterday's pupil. Haste makes waste. He that lives upon hope will die fast, and rap and freestyle never end. And some people die at the age of 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. He that's content hath enough. He that complains has too much. To follow by faith alone is to follow blindly. I'd rather be a pessimist, because then I can only be pleasantly surprised. Rhymes all night. Energy and persistence conquer all things. Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. Redeem them, spit them, spat them. As nations get corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters. A master of rappers is coming again. Spitting and spatting, I said. To succeed, jump as quickly at opportunities as you do at conclusions. Write your injuries in dust, your benefits in marble. spitting on papa. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Wise men don't need advice, fools don't take it. Wise men don't need advice, fools won't take it. He that would live in peace and at ease must not speak all he knows, nor judge all he sees. Indeed, many a long dispute among the vines may be thus abridged. It is so, it is not so, it is so, it is not so. Where there's marriage without love, there'll be a love without marriage. Love and the marriage goes together like a horse and carriage. Benjamin Franklin, love and the marriage. My forever Benjamin Franklin tribute freestyle in denial for a while, spitting a spattle for a dial.